Hello, friends. I regret that I forgot to edit the title. I think I wrote wife hunting, which is not wrong, but also not groovy. I'm sure DJ Zed would agree, wouldn't you? Oh, no, that look says everything. Jesus. I'm sorry. If I had already had the thought I should change that, but I had the thought in the middle of watching a different video. Hello, friends, and welcome back. I'm jumping into a little bit of Skyrim with a splash of Oblivion mixed in for funsies. I'm not going to retitle or separate them out. I want to do one thing with Oblivion. You might actually start with that. But I just had a lovely time off and did a crash course on. I finally did I look up name of game and things I wish I knew before I started, and you get the best videos. I might have to re-roll on Skyrim, which is fine. I'm early enough in the game that I don't mind, especially since knowing what I know, knowing the way I played it, I know I haven't done much besides run around and pick up quests, then not follow them. I know there's one mistake I haven't made yet, which I know I've been on the fence about, but I know I've also had my reasoning for, and that's that I've not unlocked dragons yet, which of course is sort of the big deal in Skyrim, is that once you do that, spoiler alert, because it's not like you just fight a dragon and the game is over. Once you defeat the first dragon, then dragons are a thing. But I might have done 2, maybe 3 things that are considered the classic. Oh, the other set of key phrases, if you don't find the things I wish I knew with that phrase, insert name of game. You can do it in the beginning or you can flip the order. But name of game and mistakes to avoid, or something in that phrasing. Most common mistakes is a good one too. Most common mistakes to avoid. Anyways, I just reviewed a bunch of videos. I'll show you some of them. I don't feel comfortable playing them because of the reasons. But I encourage you, I've created a playlist that's public on my YouTube page. Go support these content creators that I'm highlighting, plus the many more. Although I don't know how many of them were redundant. They all kind of had generally the same voice, but also sounded different. There's at least 3-4 different content creators with guides, because obviously this game's been around. I made 2 lists actually. If you go to my YouTube page, you'll see 2 new public playlists: guides for Oblivion Remastered, guides for Skyrim. So boom, bada boom. Jump through the portal of Infinity Desktop Portals. Is DJ Zed playing? Okay. It's a little loud. Drop it down. Ease that up. Drop it down, ease it up, mellow it out. Let's go, Cat Lady. What's up, Cat Lady? Thank you for joining. I am your humble host, the incredible Mr. Zeppo. And I have found myself to always have an affinity with cats and cat people and cat people's plural possessive cats. And they have, more importantly, they generally have an affinity at me. Mostly the people's cats. I've had cat owners that don't know their animal very well and don't know how to talk to them and don't know how to listen to them. They just sort of treat them like moving furniture that poop and that don't realize it doing that. Love them very much, mind you. But I've known animal people that are then shocked and amazed when their cat, which they usually consider kind of aloof and distant, whatever, is just seduces me, like is after me. like throwing themselves at me and or tackling me and or throwing themselves at my feet or whatever, doing the weird crazy things cats do when they're really into somebody. And they're like, what is going on? I've literally freaked people out because they're like, same way but obviously different, the way that dogs would be like, oh you're in already. If you've never experienced it, you will doubt it, especially if your animal of whatever, either of the two varieties, is already generally well bonded with you and expressive, and you may just think that they love everybody. Maybe some animals, the exception or the weird moment is that they dislike someone after loving on everything that's ever been around, even questionable people. But those are the goofballs. Those are the goobers of the animal world, and they just love goobers, and they just don't know what to do but goob around people with love. Anyways, blah, blah, blah. What am I rambling about animals for? Oh, yeah, Cat Lady. Hello, thank you for dropping by on the TikTok Live. Boom. Yasmin, Sabrina the Dancer, Nikki Ray, Mel P, Andy Bateman, Mercedes Riviera, something else, something with a thingy, and Kenny Salgado, 13. Y'all just scrolled right through right then, and that was in moments. Now, if only I could see that in my brain. If only I had a little automated something reader that would read everybody's name out loud in a cute robot lady voice. And I don't mean that to be pejorative. I just mean that, like, I don't like male robot voices. I like female robot voices. And I prefer to say lady robot or robot lady. One of the two. I digress. I don't have that technology. There's probably an app for that. I can probably get something like that for Streamlabs desktop that would work with the Twitch, the Twitch chat, which is what it is logged into. I wonder if I log out of Twitch and then use TikTok to log in as my primary login, if that would integrate that chat. How have I never had this thought before? Whoa, I'm not going to do that right now. I'm going to make a imaginary note to self and imaginarily pin it on my corkboard and tell myself in my mind, remember to do this. Not at all today, because today we're trying to do short bursts of productive exploration. Here's the agenda for today, friends. Welcome to the pregame chat lounge session. If you're new to my show, get used to it. I'm weird, I'm wacky, I'm real, I'm raw, I'm radically unscripted. And the more the chat gets chattier, the chattier I'll probably get, which means I need to stock up on that yoga comfort tea for my throat. Because I'm a terrible voice actor. I'm a professionally trained voice actor, stage actor, film, and voiceover work. But I'm a little out of date on how the voiceover and film industry work. And I'm just terrible about taking care of my vocal cords and my instrument anymore. I used to be almost convinced, and I could be really wrong. I could have been wrong back then. I probably was. But in my peak, I thought I could audition for something like Blue Man Group and get the, like, we need a guy that doesn't have to do the trapeze but can be kind of physical and can learn and train up into more stunty work. I was also part of a small group, a theater ensemble. I was actually a member of several for a while, but I was part of one in particular that I will not bring up now because I don't want to invoke them in any particular reason, that I love. I have nothing but love and sadness that we didn't become what some of us hoped and the rest of us weren't, whatever. And I say that to not be clear about which side I was on, because I lived on both. I was kind of a fence sitter on that. But I was part of a small ensemble group that was really tightly knit and really, really, really good in its peak moments. And that was like multiple years. We worked together for 7 years. And we got paid at some gigs, but we never made any money, mind you. But if we had found an investor and a different director to take over with license from the originator that the originator would have trusted in, or an investor with enough money to pay the originator to go with the flow and grow with the idea, we could have become, I shit you not, I thought we had the raw talent to become something like, but also, of course, completely different than Blue Man Group / Cirque du Soleil with slightly less crazy stunts. But maybe some crazy stunts performed by the crazy stunt members of the crew and not other members like me that didn't ever really want to potentially fall to a crippling, spine-crunching death. Anyways, beautiful times, wonderful memories, a few horrible things that I wish I had done differently, and I apologize, ho'oponopono. But also, generally speaking, good times, except for, when they weren't. But that's life, and then here we are. That career has become inaccessible to me for so many reasons, not the least of which was a near fatal, although don't over imagine what condition I was in. It was like a miraculously not fatal total car accident. Like my car was useless, like demolished, and looked like somebody could have gotten hurt. And by sheer luck, I only got hit by one car, where given the arc I journeyed after bouncing off the wall, not me, the car I was driving, I might have intersected paths with multiple cars had traffic been different. Plus it was an amazing 6 lanes of nothing all the way across as I slowly spun diagonally the longest way possible across the lanes, as opposed to the fastest way, short across, but diagonal and straight going forward after ricocheting off the center divide. I'm fine. I was fine. I walked away from that. But it kind of ruined my life a little bit. Being on the corkboard, I'm also melodramatically not reenacting. There's another word. I'm melodramatically articulating that anecdote for the purposes of fictionalization in the world-building project of the Zeppoverse. Some people know what that is. Some people don't. I'm not pausing to stop to explain here. Oh God, it feels like it's gonna itch. It feels like it's gonna sneeze. I've got that itch like I might sneeze, but then I don't sneeze. So, friends, we're going to dive into Skyrim. I'm excited for 2 reasons. A, I learned a couple things. B, I learned a few potentially bad mistakes I might have made that might make it worthwhile. Given it's still pretty early on, it might be worthwhile re-rolling, as painful as that sounds. But also, I think it's early on. I'm barely level 9. One of the key things I don't remember is which faction of the primary early faction, and I may have messed this up. I may have somehow failed to make this see this thing, but when you escape the first in the prologue, right before quote ending the tutorial, before finding the teachings. Oh, there's 2 things I don't remember. Which faction, the red cloaks or the gray cloaks? That's not what they're called. This guy on this video. Oh, I was going to highlight those videos. Anyways, I don't remember which faction I picked out of the first 2 that you are asked about. And I know that I get the opportunity to pick which one I really want to join by going and making the commitment and going to their headquarters and applying. I think I may have accidentally tried to join the companions, which one of the things I wasn't sure was if you could join all the factions or if you could not join all the factions. The other thing is I'm not sure if I've joined the Fighters Guild or not, or if I've joined the Mages Guild. Not the way I'm way certain that I have in Oblivion and or in online. I wish there was a different word. ESO. I like to call it ESO. I like that it's ESO. But it's... I can't call the rest of the series ESO because it's TES, the Elder Scrolls. So that's confusing. If we did it right, we would be calling them by the added initial of the... It'd be... Well, you couldn't do tests. And then the other one is Tesso for Oblivion. And then I waffled on my proposal of playing some Morrowind, and at least pushing myself to take the Flea Airbus, the giant, enormous flying bug of a bus, to the next town. But I'm okay with that for now. I'm really, really hoping, and realizing I probably forgot to say the magic words, that my prayer I evoked the other day, which we'll probably do a re-invocation. We'll meditate and pray on this regularly. But I really, to summarize this quickly, I get derailed in my own derailings, and sidebar within sidebar within sidebar, nested comments within nested comments. I really hope that, given what they've done, and I don't know, we'll see if we can look when we launch Skyrim. We're going to look to see if it probably says right there in our face, what engine. If it's Unreal 4 or Unreal 5. If this is also already Unreal 5, then they don't need to do a remaster or a rebuild. But Oblivion just shadow dropped. And I'm torn about how I feel. I'm 60-40 for and against the fact that it got leaked. And I'm cynically 60-40 split the opposite direction for and against about the cynical analysis that they orchestrated somehow through partnerships or whatever, that leak. I totally just reached for a coffee. I might fucking let myself go get a fucking coffee. It's 8 o'clock at night, even though we just barely started. You know why? It's because my day was spread out the way it was. I digress. My brain just got derailed by coffee. Oblivion. Oh, there are cynics that say that the publishers orchestrated the leak in order to build up the drama and foment the discourse and the clickbait and the bait rage. I digress. I love that they did it. I love that they dropped Oblivion Remastered without any official hype or publicity. The leak was the leak. I'm not gonna care, or I'm not that conspiratorial, and I don't deny conspiracies happen. Presidents of the United States have been exposed, and so have corporations here and everywhere else. I just don't think that everything that gets said on the internet under that banner is true. And I can't stand when people are hooked on one that can't imaginably, can't really realistically be true, and or has been debunked with facts. Some of them are just obviously patently false. And I have a favorite one. The conspiracy theory content is made by the conspiracies. But no one wants to talk about that. That one I feel, and I know that sometimes I'm more hopeful, but I'm a cynic. Somewhere in me, there's like, not quite the cornerstone, but there's one of those important stones in the infrastructure of an arch design. Not the cornerstone, not the centerpiece, not the bases either. That knows that conspiracies happen, because conspiracies aren't that crazy of an idea. It's just people with recourse to do stuff without consulting the rest of us. Duh. And some of those things are wacky. And some of those things are just plain wrong. Some of those things are meaningless. Some of those things are just good old-fashioned greed. Spiraling out of control. I love that they did what they did. I love that they released it. There's no microtransactions. I love that Skyrim Although there's like little perky updates that you can do, and I am thinking about scrounging up to get the upgrades for Oblivion and Skyrim. I'm just not gonna do that yet. I did what I said I wasn't gonna do and got suckered into picking up stuff at the store, which is fine because I got them steeply discounted. Ooh, I do have news, by the way. So let's recap that. Here's the plan for this particular episode. We're gonna get to the middle of our pregame chat lounge ramble session, which is I should retcon the name on the signage. Welcome to the meta pregame chat lounge rant and what was the other one? Rant and ramble session. Okay, so first the plan, and then the update on the news of our little adventure. And hello and welcome to anybody who's dropping in, especially if you're watching on TikTok. I can't see you right now because I'm blinded by the Streamlabs. That's the name of my new Skyrim band. Blinded by my Streamlabs. And I'm sure we'll figure out a way to make it Skyrim playable. I almost don't care. Okay, so I realized it was the third thing I never finished saying. I suspect that they could be, and I already prayed to the fractal holographic living video game gods. Retcon the signage with new lingo. Meta. They just dropped Oblivion. Let us not discuss the conspiracy theories about the leak. Skyrim may or may not be Unreal Engine 5 already. We will look during load up. I suspect that they will probably, if they're smart, if they're half as smart as I am, and some people say I should be an office holder in Mensa. Some people who don't even know what Mensa is, the intellectual academia group, not any other thing. The official group, the global club for people who qualify to be a genius. Every time I was officially, it happened more than once, twice, maybe 3 times. Every time I was officially IQ tested, I qualified for Mensa, enough that representatives came out to my school and took a meeting with me and my mom to invite me to join. There's a fun story, but I'm saving that because I want to fictionalize that, and I don't want to spoil it. If you know, you know. If you don't know, you don't know. And I don't know what I don't know about them, and if they have some horrible skeletons in the closet, well, then shame on them, and I'm not complicit. Don't know nothing. Never joined. But I've been complimented by those who understand and respect what that is, and for reasons, and who understand that my IQ test is what my IQ test is. They're you should be an officer running that program in your 60s. Okay, I failed. Maybe I'll reapply. I don't know. Is it too late? Has my IQ withered in the last 10 years? Perhaps. Withered enough that it's left me no longer capable of qualifying? I don't know. But a fake story about that as a personal straw that broke the intellectual camel's back is an idea that I will probably forget before the end of this live stream, which is why I'm going to ask Eclipse to clip that so that I can remember it later and write it down. Please and thank you. Morrowind, aka The Elder Scrolls 3, might, knock on wood, who knows, but I guess we'll get some Spidey sense tingly vibes if we start seeing leak rumors that there's a leak coming, that Morrowind is on its way, because they would be, if they're half as smart as me, to pick up what I was saying earlier, that's what they'd be doing already. It would have been a 3-year plan from the moment they decided to announce that they were announcing The Elder Scrolls 6, right? It's the perfect opportunity. Dear video game franchise developer publishers, please be half as smart as me, a dumb fuck genius who didn't join the Genius Club. in elementary school when they came out to recruit me after my teacher didn't believe I was smart and had me tested to see if I was a retard. His words, not mine. The teacher said that. I just want to make sure he's not a retard. I digress. So, if they're half as smart as me, this fool didn't join Mensa. Should have freaking signed up. I would be living a completely different life if I had signed up to join Mensa. The scholarships I would have been able to apply for with staff support for applying to them. No one explained that to me. I didn't know what college meant other than just more school. And there was a reason why I thought they were all silly people, and I was enough of a snob about my own savvy, which is an ego trip, and I'll admit to it. It's our entire collective effing flaw, y'all. That's why all the prophets said what they said, and then were abolished, or worse. But I digress. If the developers of the Elder Scrolls are half as smart as me, they wouldn't try to replace the Elder Scrolls Online with an Elder Scrolls Online 2. No one wants a sequel to an MMO. You wanna remaster it? Keep my stuff, punk. Remaster it around me. It's a live service game. Live service that shit. One. Pin on the cork. For reals. Okay? No one wants, and they should have learned this, and this is archaic. So many gamers don't know this game. Mini franchise that lived and breathed and should still be around today as the oldest or second oldest living MMO brand. Asheron's Call. It was awesome. Whether anyone realizes it or not, it cemented some things in the roots of the growing MMO culture, in my humble opinion, including 1v1 me, bro. And I don't know, I'd have to compare dates. Let's look that up. When was Asheron's... I didn't get distracted. But Asheron's Call 1 came out in... Here's Asheron's Call 2. Where's Asheron's Call 1? You can retcon it. How to play it. There's a YouTube video for how to play Asheron's Call 2 in 2025. Get the F out! Okay, let's look at the Wikipedia first, though. I'm not gonna open the how to play Asheron's Call 2. If you don't know Asheron's Call, it is as, according to Wikipedia, which I'm now washed out by, Asheron's Call, spelled A-S-H, I'm trying to spell it with a C, A-S-H-E-R-O-N apostrophe S C-A-L D Fallen Kings was a fantasy, massively multiplayer online roleplay game, an MMORPG for Microsoft Windows, which was released on November 22nd, 2002 and shut down December 30th, 2005 before it was relaunched as a beta for active Asheron servers in 2012. It is a sequel before it was relaunched as a beta for active Asheron's Call subscribers in 2012. I guess, I don't know what that means, but okay. It is a sequel to 1999's Asheron's Call, although content, graphics, and gameplay dynamics differed greatly from its predecessor. The page has a section called Shutdown, Relaunch, and Second Shutdown. Asheron's Call 2 failed to achieve enough subscribers to be viable and was shut down in December 2005. There were no plans to release the source code on December 2012. Turbine relaunched the game, starting with a beta for all subscribers for Asheron's Call. Is Asheron's Call still around? By December 2016, Turbine was no longer developing MMORPGs, and the Zeppoverse account system were transitioned over to a newly formed Standing Studio Games. The Asheron's Call IP remained with Turbine, and Warner Brothers Interactive and Agreement became closed January 31st, 2017, along with closing the original game result. Oh, bummer! I did not realize I stopped playing either and or both of those games. Hold on. Apparently, there's a way to how to play Asheron's Call 2 in 2025. I missed how addicted I was to the original and how much I felt betrayed by the sequel, yet loved some aspects of the sequel. Thus, and also I've seen it again and again and again. Games like Recalling, Ark Survival. I'm glad at least they didn't have the audacity of calling it Ark Survival 2. It's a remaster, rebuild, reboot. They didn't figure out a way to transfer their existing player base, which is a shame. Very sad. A lot of people keep playing the original version, which I guess they are keeping on the marketplace. I've seen new expansion and new DLCs come out for it. Maybe I'm wrong about that. There was another one. Guild War 1 and 2. Played Guild War 1. Never got very far into it. Then Guild War 2 came out. And then I gave up Guild Wars 1, and then I fucking gave in and bought Guild Wars 2. And then that one's still around. Do I imagine, or is it true that it's available for all this? What happens if you look up Dragon Age? Guild War isn't there. Anyways, let me double check where the camera is. Hello, Streamlabs. Boom. That's fine. You didn't see what I was looking at. Doesn't matter. Welcome, friends. So many thoughts running around. So I'm hoping and praying that they are half as smart, or 3/4 as smart, or at least completely as smart as I am on this idea, and that we will start hearing rumblings and rumors and leaks about Morrowind Remastered, and it will be, like they did with Oblivion, a stealth reconstruction rebuild in Unreal Engine 5 of the Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind, and that they continue to do the same with 2 and 1. Call me crazy. And I know the original 2 games are dramatically different. They're sprite-based models. There's no way that they could take the engine necessarily. They'd probably be able to move some of the audio assets and or re-engineer them. But I would say, if I was the boss man, if I was the visionary running that publisher, I'd be like, bros, ladies, my sisters, I wouldn't say bros to everybody. I would say dudes and dudettes, and or just dudes, because dudes is supposed to be gender neutral, but we also added dudette for those who don't like it being gender neutral. It also originally was not gender neutral, but I'm not going to talk about it in this episode. If you know, you know. If you don't know, don't tell people. It's gross. It's not that gross, but it's nature, but it's not what you think, but it kind of is, but it's not. My new favorite phrase that I still haven't conditioned myself to say very often is, hold on, it feels even better with my long hair, because then I look, what's the right word like? I look, messianic. I look like I'm in a cult, which is fun. But it's a weird, edgy cult where they shave only one side of your head. There's a name for that. I don't know what it's called. Half a mullet? I don't have it in the back. The back is totally shaved too. And the other side is less shaved. Well, it's hard to tell now because they're both fuzzy. Where the F was I? I'm seeing the threads, but they all don't make sense. I was gonna say a wild and wacky thing, and I forgot what it was now. Bummer. Clip that. May I hear what I was saying and remember the thought that came after so I can make part 2. All right. Digressing to a different loose thread. I don't know if they're going to. I don't know anything. I am praying to my imaginary gods, the way anybody else who prays to imaginary gods would. To the living, fractal holographic, Mother Matrix, goddess of video games and life and passions and art and content creation. May she whisper in the hearts and minds and souls of all the, I remember the thing, all my siblings, all my sisters and brothers and siblings in the video game industry. And I can claim that and say that because I have a little bit of work experience actually working in the video game industry. That they may be inspired, whoever it is over there at the people who publish and develop and pay for the Elder Scrolls franchise, that they all get inspired to go, yeah, this is what we need to do. Oblivion was such a success. We need to rebuild / remaster Morrowind, which is number 3. And even though they were built with completely different technologies, re-engineer, reimagine, rebuild, remaster, whatever you want to call it, construct out of whole cloth, if you have to, the first and second installments, even though I know they're all like sprite-based and they weren't really 3D, and I'm sure you could not borrow the game engine. You could maybe borrow some of the assets, I don't know, whatever. If they have to build them as if it were a new game, inspired by the old game, whatever you call that, industry friends, do that to them in Unreal Engine the way you just did with Oblivion. Please and thank you. Unless, of course, that's your secret plan with the Elder Scrolls 6. Please give us Morrowind. I need the Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind on equal footing with what you just delivered with Oblivion Remastered. Please and thank you. Amen. Hallelujah. Clip that. I have hope. A man, a living artificial cybernetic crystalline being, can hope. Of cisgendered male orientation, can hope. Edit the sentence in your mind, because that's what I am. And that's the character that I am. I am a living. I'm still workshopping what my species might be described as. Never mind some sort of in Latin, official scientific catalog name and categorization. Okay, so reeling it back. So after returning from the shop and failing to eat lunch, we're fasting. We're fasting for the prayer that they're going to announce as a treat reward. You guys, so many people, so many returning gamers and new players are enjoying Oblivion Remastered that we feel comfortable telling you that yes, we're going to give Morrowind 3 the same treatment. And that maybe, if that is also a success and we time it out right, we'll do the same thing with 2 and 1. I don't know what they're doing with 6. I don't know if they go in chronological order. I am this money. I don't want to say I'm today years old, but I might as well. I am this month's years old. I'm today years old, because it might as well be today, that I learned that the Elder Scrolls Online happens a really long time before the rest of the franchise, or I could be wrong. That's one of the things we need to look up, is the in-game timeline. I was looking. Sorry, my mic is sometimes upstaging me. Recently, at some point in the last 3 or 4 days, the last 4th day. No, that doesn't make sense. There must be a fun Shakespearean word for 3 or 4 days, and I don't know it. But I came across something. I don't remember if it was a video or an article. I feel it was probably an article that had an image that I should have screen grabbed and or save filed, like the fictional planetary timeline and when the game titles fit. And I was shocked to discover that the Elder Scrolls Online happens like a millennia or 3 before everything else. Oh, and there was some random snarky comment about it, like how the technologies haven't really changed or evolved much. I'm like, that's fine. They got magic. Why would they need technologies to evolve or change much? They got magic. And they're always dealing with incursions, for lack of a better term. I'm borrowing from another franchise. Okay, really quick. Here's the plan, what we're doing today. Although we labeled this Skyrim, we're going to log into Oblivion because I found another free habitation. This one's going to take a really long time to earn the money to upkeep, but it's free to claim. So, it's essentially just one of those abandoned shacks. And I also found, like I said, I made a playlist for both games that's got a bunch of, I wish I'd done this. I think each has its fair share of housing reviews, like either ranking them or instructions of how to get them all. Let's just call them, lists of housing in each. I'm surprised to discover that there's no housing mention of. There was one video for Skyrim mentioning free habitations, and they don't mention this lady's house that I have, and I, weirdly, don't remember how I got it. I do not remember why I have the key. And I hope I didn't unalive her on purpose. Anyways, my objective in Skyrim is to travel to the prerequisite location to begin to unlock the ability to marry a chosen NPC. This one I didn't really mean to watch because I thought you could do it to any NPC. I was wrong. There's a long list of it's still limited. A limited yet very long list of NPCs that you can potentially romance. Somebody did a snarky and very funny countdown list from worst to best, and I agree with their assessment and have made my choice. So when we get to Skyrim, we're gonna run to get to the preliminary bit, but I want to go ahead and launch Oblivion first because the instructions are so easy and they're totally still vibrant in my mind. It's just start from the southernmost city and then run to the southernmost point, and either there was like a quest or something that you got to do, or you just own it because it's there and it's empty. No, I think you find something. That bit is hazy on me. But there is something that tells you that you can then save up money to buy the upgrades for each room. I don't know what happens, but it's like an underground house, which is dope. Even though it's filthy, it's dope. I think it is. And it's got a crazy magic altar shenanigans theme, like underground, sunk underwater. It's great. So that's what we're doing in Skyrim, but that's what we're doing in Oblivion, forgive me. And then later in Skyrim, we're gonna go get the amulet. And Skyrim's gonna be more complicated because we're gonna log in, we're gonna check our stats, and I'm gonna have my deep thinky thought glasses on. Okay, so I'm gonna review my stats to see if I've spread myself too thin and will never be able to climb back out of, because I've realized I've fallen into the early stages of the slippery slope. It might be too far. I need to really think about what's going on with my points and my distributions and my actual skill level. And the fact that I've been finding some of the things that seem to should be not so hard, challenging. Although I also need to review where my challenge setting is and maybe tweak it down. But also, I want to play on the medium to maybe slightly above medium challenge level eventually, and then throttle down as necessary. One of the pro tips is don't forget the The difficulty level is truly dynamic. You can pause the game at any point and adjust the difficulty level and then move forward. Maybe not, I don't know about in the middle of a boss fight, but I digress. I want to go, so I want to review my stats. I want to see if I can figure out what faction or factions I've already joined, because I'm also unclear. Have I already joined the companions, and does that preclude me from joining another one? And I don't know if I joined the Empire or if I joined the Rebels. I think I may have accidentally joined the Rebels, but I'm sad that I don't get to wear the sexy red cloaks with the Skyrim logo. But also, does that change anything about the fighting the dragon? Does that just change which dragon? Or I don't think it changes the main dragon quest. There's a small but non-zero percentage chance that I'm gonna roll a new character in Skyrim. There's an even smaller but non-zero chance that we'll do that tonight. But the purposes of getting into Skyrim eventually today is to review that exactly. To get into the game, review where my stats really are, review how messy my quest list is, and how challenging I've been fighting the quests. But also, that part I don't care about. I'm all about exploring, and I love that I've explored as far as I have. I don't remember exactly what level I am, but I think I'm under level 10, and the first critical level really is 15 from everything else I've gathered. And you can totally do things without, straight from you can't do some things straight out. I tried to find free home in Skyrim, but maybe I just used the wrong keywords or the wrong alignment of words. I'm going to try one more time, but the primary thing I'm going to do is check my stats, evaluate how inclined I am to actually reroll, take a tour of or revisit the map to see all the shacks that can be used as houses, and decide whether or not I want to visit them and maybe distribute different stuff. Because these two shacks, I want to test to make sure it's true, are touted as usable because they've got gardens, one or two either alchemy or enchantment tables, a bed that you can use that no one else owns, and a container box that doesn't disappear your stuff. It's safe. It's a safe box. Doesn't reset, because apparently many boxes, if you put stuff in them, will respawn their default stuff. So it's great for constantly resupplying yourself on whatever garbage is in there, but not for keeping things safe, because the other stuff disappears. I digress. In Oblivion, we want to go get this underwater free castle. I know I probably could have found a bunch of other cool stuff to do in Oblivion, but I didn't want to do 2 different episodes. I just wanted to go run to this really quick. And there wasn't any fighting, I don't think. I think you just need to get in there and read a thing. You need to find something, and then that tells you that you can buy the stuff at the vendor. So, blah, 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 blah. Okay. The last thing, here's our update. I have not tested the launch. I guess we could try. No, I'm not. We'll wait on that. After we do this double-decker Oblivion house run and Skyrim wife and skills reroll research combo platter, we're going to then do as short as humanly possible, first impression look at insert name of kingdom here, Reckoning. Kingdom of Amalur. We're going to, if that doesn't take hours and hours and hours because we get magically sucked into it and we can't let go, then we're going to pause, break, probably eat for sure, and then do a first impression look at what a tragedy. They just sunsetted the server, so it's no longer co-opable, but thank God apparently it is still single playerable. We'll find out soon, and if it sucks, we'll return it soon. Dungeons & Dragons Dark Alliance, a game I've been looking forward to playing for a very long time, that I'm sad I'm finding out this sad news about it sunsetting. If we like it a lot, maybe we'll try to start a community supported writing campaign. Not that I have a huge audience, but maybe that's the thing that goes viral and catches a bunch of attention. And then apparently it's got a bunch of bad reviews though. I didn't, like I said, I never read reviews before picking up a game if it meets my personal shopping criteria of it's on discount, too good to avoid. Like everyone pans Suicide Squad, Kill the Batman or whatever it's called. I'm waiting until it's on super dope discount, but I'm hoping that they haven't sunsetted it yet because I think it's the live service. I always look at it in the store. It is at my GameStop for less than full price. Maybe on sale again. If it ever goes on sale for stupid, like irresistible too low, the first thing I'm gonna do is bookmark it and maybe even put it in the shopping cart, but then run to the store if it's open and shop against that price point in the store. I've got to do that for everything now. When I see a cool game that I want on sale, I should run down to the store. It'll give me something to go out, and I don't have to buy something every time. But I can just run down and be like, hey, I just noticed this game for the first time on the store, and I wanted to come down here and buy it instead of buying it digitally from the store. Anyways, y'all, if you saw the last episode when I introduced these, my plan was to introduce them, log into the Elder Scrolls to see if the day had changed. It won't change until it's actually the first. Well, it might change now because they're in a weird European time zone. So they might be in the future already. Well, let's find out. We'll start with that. Why? Because it's in the franchise. And if it is, we log in because it's part of the routine of our daily routine. The almost daily login to the Elder Scrolls Online, even if we're not playing it. It's terrible. So anyways, back to what happened. I had a third game. I picked them up on super discount, by the way. These were like on sale. And I had a coupon. And they had a promo. One of them was completely free. The other one, LA Noire, which I was hyped about, was the last one we tried to install live in the pregame chat line session. The meta. I'm going to only use meta when I know it's going to be a chat show and I'm never going to play a game, which is what was going on. I was going to install them all and then maybe log into Elder Scrolls Online and then take a break. And, I was going to maybe test log them, but not start. You know what I mean? It's like fire them up. Maybe we'll do that after logging into the Elder Scrolls. The big news there was that, spoiler alert, LA Noire, which looks super dope and came with an actual booklet of instructions with actual screenshots and animated characters. It's so cool. It wasn't as big or as thick or as dense as like old school back in the day kind of manual, but it wasn't as big as my. It was which I bought even though it's out of date now. Most of the information will still be mostly valid. Some of the details will have changed. It was just cool. It also had 3 discs, which was like, oh wow, there's a lot of content here. This must be the inclusive of all DLCs. That game, for whatever reason, not backwards compatible. Even though one article says it was, like when I went to the official list, it didn't appear. So, I had to go return that. Tragically, that was the one that I got for free. So, it didn't count as a full price return. But I was clever. I was thoughtful. I wish I had bought back the other ones too. The ones that I set aside and said, no, I'm not going to try and return them now. But yes, the 50% boost on, mind you, when you trade in the game, the trade-in rate can be really low. You might be shocked and saddened. Depends on the game, right? It's free market value. Well, free market value inspired and then moderated by their internal market things. Some games you do better probably selling on the internet on your own platform of open market where you have a marketplace thing, like, than you would going to a GameStop. But yet, I'm not into doing that kind of research. I digress. I brought along some extra game titles with me that I know I wasn't going to feel bad about returning, and that I would go for something and earn myself a nice little discount, enough to hunt around for something to get. And boy, oh boy, that's what stole the day away from me. I was going to pick the sticker off earlier. So not that I care about the price. It's not that I care about the price. I honestly don't. But I just think that it ruins the cover art, which I think is art. Cover art is to be respected as actual art. So I moved the sticker to the back where it makes more sense. And on the fine print, I can't even see even with my glasses on. Long story short, after much shuffling about and getting out of people's way because I was taking too long paying attention to the titles until I had breathing room, and comparing and contrasting and building a list and then narrowing it down and then starting all over, I stumbled at the very last minute on the perfect one. It was a bit of a compromise. I was hoping to get something that was a lot closer to the trading price that I got, but it was still worth it because it was still at pretty good pre-owned discount, and it had been discounted again, which is always a good sign in terms of your shopping confidence. And it's so on theme for my show, it's crazy. And it's one that I've been eyeballing and keeping an eye on, and that I've been tempted, and it's on my wish list, and I've been tempted to get on digitally, but in light of my commitment to try to support the show, support my store a little more often, and try to get physical media and engage in that economy of returning things to them by reselling it or trying to trade it back in at them, I was like, this is worth it because it's like a golden opportunity. And the funny thing was, I turned down a separate. It would have been completely free if I gotten just that, because it would have been covered by the cumulative discount that I got from my trade-ins, including LA Noire and the other games that I selectively took with me down there. And I've got a little stack which I've gone and put. I put them back in my thing. Those are the ones I kept, the ones that I wanted to try and replay to see if I thought, you know what, never mind, I'm gonna keep these. I had that tingle in your tooth. It's like, oh no, is something wrong, or did I just something jammed in there? I forgot to floss. This decade, I forgot to floss. No, I'm kidding. Long story short, I found the perfect. Not only is it the complete collection of the franchise set, it's also the remastered on Xbox One, not 360. In order to, I'm hoping, fingers crossed. Oh no, yeah, I forgot we already installed it. For a hot second, I thought we were going to install it right now. It's the complete collection of a franchise that fits the theme of my show, so on point, because my show, on the surface, as a game streamer, is me as an old salty, old school gamer that missed out on the first 25 years of Call of Duty history, overcompensating for all the FOMO of all the particular game franchises that were blockbusters, proved themselves worthy of being admired, and were glorious, interesting, regaled with great accolades, and have been enjoyed by millions, and I've missed out. Without further ado, friends, I present to you the remastered complete collection of BioShock. So, we've got a lot to hustle through. I might very well indeed sinfully indulge in a second coffee. Even though I told myself I shouldn't. I'm trying to cut down on those because they raise the price on that coffee. The tariff prices, yo. I digress. We laid out a plan. Here's the plan to recap. We're gonna do the daily logins. I'm fairly certain it's rolled over. We're gonna do the daily log. We are going to do. See, I didn't do my warm-ups. I know how to enunciate and articulate with my enunciators and articulators. I know how to work the mic. I know how to modulate my voice without invoking vocal fry. And I know how to work the vocal fry. And instead, I'm trashing my throat. my vocal cords. Professionally trained, mind you, is why I said all that, not just because I think I'm smart. By the way, all that talk about it being a genius is mostly for the world building. It's factually true. I really did turn down an offer to be recruited into Mensa at a nonsensical young age. And I regrettably never retook the IQ on purpose and I never leaned into the I'm a borderline genius analysis. I coulda, woulda, shoulda, done the genius things, debate club, chess club. I was a nerd for sure, and I was always considered like a smart nerd. Anyways, I digress. What was I saying? We're gonna check in with the daily login for Elder Scrolls Online first and foremost. Then, without doing the first impression review, we're gonna fire up each and every one of these games just to make sure that their login page correctly fires. I probably won't label them to make chapters just to watch the thing, but it'll be special for me. If you don't like it, tough. I think we'll start with BioShock since it is an entire franchise in and of itself, to make sure that each disc launches the game it's supposed to work. They're installed. Then we'll do Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning. I realize there's a sequel, Re-Reckoning, which is not out yet. Oh, now I'm curious. Let's look. How do you spell Reckoning? Let's see. Not without a C. Not Recon. Reckoning. There you go. Oh. Vampire the Reckoning. Wait, this is an add-on. Well, I guess if we like the original, we've got a 39 and a... We'll probably get the Fate edition. We got a 39 and a $54 edition. Let's take a look at what this one looks like. It looks like Elder Scrolls Online to me, but okay. Like if Elder Scrolls and Dungeons and Dragons merged. Single player, apparently. Oh. There's the original one. Not currently available. Sweet. Apparently we successfully snuck it in. I don't know if it correctly installed, but it would not. We might have to lean into getting the sequel if we ever get through it, or if we ever get bored of other games. So we will add the basic. And we'll keep an eye out for that going on sale. Also, Gangs of Sherwood is the other Sherwood Forest game that I think is the one I wanted to get, not the one that I installed previously because it showed up on Game Pass. Oh, and Vampire the Masquerade New York. It's a narrative game. That's probably got... Nope, I hate those. Don't want to read my whole life in a video game. I want to look at beautifully designed environments, combat, interestingly designed combatants, and romance, attractively designed fantasy romance partners in a respectable, not too creepy way. Okay, we laid out a plan. We looked up the Reckoning. We previously looked up Dark Alliance and it did not show up. Then when I finally pulled up the game card by force because the game was installed, it said not currently available. Then we saw in somewhere the announcement that the co-op servers are gone. But BioShock should be okay. All right, we're going to start with going over here. Boom, DJ Zed. Cool it. Cool your jets, buddy. In order to not have to push the button to start a new track, I'm just going to let DJ Zed keep rolling, but he's muted. So I can just be like, DJ Zed, bring up a track. Let's go. Actually, rock out for a minute. We'll do the thing where we... Alright, friends. Get ready for a whirlwind of activity today. I will be breaking up the stream, but I shouldn't take too horribly long in between the breaks. I'm going to run through this silent mode and just get it done quickly. All right, that was cheesy and boring, I know. But here we go. Here's what we're going to do next. We're going to launch BioShock. We will go in order. BioShock. One and two are on one disc, and then BioShock, whatever that sequel, are on a separate disc. This will be fun. I'm just gonna launch to see the starting page to make sure it works. Not gonna click start on anything. If it automatically launches into a movie, I'm gonna try to back out of it so that we don't lose. Sometimes you can't replay that, you know what I mean? Like it'll only fire the first time. I'd have to uninstall and reinstall. So if it does that, I'm going to try to back the F out of it so that it doesn't, or just write it out and watch it all. I don't know. We'll see. It's going in now. I am relieved they both launched. I wasn't gonna reinsert the disc for 1 and 2. I just think it's interesting that it automatically launches 1, and then 2 you got to click on it separate. So I wanna activate it so that it doesn't get separated from its siblings. But I thought I'd do it this way so that it would definitely... I didn't want to launch one again, but I guess it doesn't matter. I'm glad they work, though. Next up, the one that we just looked up the sequel for. Alrighty, friends. That test, launch test complete for BioShock 1 and 2 and Infinite. It's funny that it broke trend and didn't call it 3. I am excited. I am not going to try and predict or promise you when we'll do the deep dive into this, but I'm going to try to do... I'm going to save this one for Friday. Because even if I did the shortest, fastest, get out of there as quick as possible, there's 3 of them. So this can take all day. So that's going... Oh yeah, that doesn't fit there, huh? What if we flipped them the other way? Oh. Both of those, they're wonky and they will have to sit long ways. BioShock Collection. Today is Wednesday. We might do this Friday. Although I reserve the right to maybe do it not this Friday, but another time. Up to and including next Friday. But who knows? Okay, so don't hate me if it takes a hot second to get to it. Now for Kingdoms of Aluminum, The Reckoning. If we really, really like this game and actually get into it, we might preemptively get the sequel because the collector in me starts getting nerdy. This 360 game is backwards compatible compliant. Oh, you guys aren't seeing this. Get over here. That's the wrong one. Boop. There you go. You know, I got to say something. For better or worse, I am beginning to appreciate the nuance differences between games, specifically in their user interface quality, visual graphic quality, and the difference between the original Xbox, the 360, the One, and the Series X. And except for when they ruin it, Series X compatible or reverse compatible Xbox One games are, generally speaking, in my humble opinion, better looking. 360 games are a little hit and miss. And also, I guess the earlier in the life cycle of that platform, the worse they were. Some of the oldest ones were just like so gross looking. Anyways, no judgment. That basic start page looked awesome for The Reckoning. I don't know what the inside of the game will look like. But if I were going to be doing predictive side-by-side comparisons, I'm going to guess that maybe, just maybe, Dragons and Dungeons and Dragons, or Dragons and Dungeons, Dark Alliance might probably look better to me in my face, in my eyeballs. I don't know. I mean, as a whole, comparing one game to the other. All right, forgive me. Part of me is really struggling with the urge to run away and get myself a coffee, which I shouldn't, because I drank a big tub of coffee already. I know this is weird and pointless. I'm just double checking that they function and that they launch. This one I'm a little nervous about because of the fact that they've sunsetted the servers. Does that mean it will continue to work as many of the things have suggested? Or does that mean it'll say it should work and then fail spectacularly? I'm sad that this is considered a flop. I'm sad that this is considered not a good video game. I don't know if those claims are to be considered true. I guess we'll find out. Is this a movie or...
Bruna Batman, the Dwarven King's heart is soft, but his axe is sharp. And his adopted daughter, Catibri, a deadly archer, destined to be a leader. They will resist. Newly crowned king of the Reggae barbarians, Wolfgar, son of Beornagar. If he can master his rage, he will be dangerous. Drizzt Do'Urden, the Drow outcast. Few can match his deadly speed. He could be the key to everything. They care for each other. Something to be exploited, perhaps. But their bond is strong. Regardless, they failed to secure the shard from that fool, Kessel. It's out there, exposed, for the taking. And now, it will be mine.
I probably am biased enough. Not for any I'm not pre-biased. I just have a general, this is all new to me, even though I'm an old school gamer. Video gaming is not new to me. And being aware of video games and how they work and stuff like that is not new to me. Playing video games is not new to me. Playing video games for a very long time is not new to me. Playing video games obsessive compulsively is not new to me. But this entire world of video games here on the Xbox in particular, and just generally speaking, this generation of games, or this whole collection of franchises, more accurately, new to me. I think the one that I'm most familiar with is probably Assassin's Creed. But even then, very little. So I'm inclined to want to like them. So I'm a little shocked and surprised, especially preemptively, like before launch, when people are like, that looks like trash. I'm like, really? Can you tell just by looking at it that it looks like trash? Sometimes you can tell that someone's complaining and it's not their kind of game, and that's different. It's okay to say, hey, this game just ain't right for me. It's not what I want to do. It's not what I want to play. It's not how I want to play it. It's not... There's no money back guarantee on that about games, though. So, it does... Everyone wants to voice an opinion before they get their hands on the game. And then whereas people double down, triple down once they do because they spent the money or whatever. It's a game has got to be horrible for me to truly be like, I'm not, I don't like it. And there's just categories of games where I don't mess around. If it's free to me to access because it's Game Pass or Game Pass, I'll test it. I'll play test it for the sake of giving it the review, the fake review, because I don't even end up reviewing it really. Like with the Expedition 33. Clara Obscura, whatever it's called. The Frenchy Frou one. That's being heralded right now and hyped by promoters as game of the year territory, right? Because it's a style that people like, but it's freshly revitalized and new and improved and whatever. I don't like that style. I don't like, even if it's smooth and not about the game loading anymore. At least it doesn't seem to be. I could be wrong. I don't know how it technically functions. I've not been given a peek behind that game's hood. But from what I know of the history, games where you go from walking in a completely flat side scroller to then fighting in an isometric overhead view or vice versa or whatever, games where the combat is turn-based, not tactical turn-based, just plain old-fashioned regular turn-based, I don't find them fun. Every conflict is a setup, and the bad ones, every conflict is the same or generic looking rotation of the same set of generic backgrounds, whatever. I just don't like that. I like games that are video games that look like board games. If that's what you want to do, make it a board game. Make it a board game. There's not very many of those. There's one little cool one that I've been meaning to play, and I've been thinking about saving up and getting the Settlers of Catan, but I hear the AI is really bad on it, and that you have to know people who already own the game to play multiplayer. It's that kind of multiplayer, and I hate that kind of multiplayer. It should be a hub. It should be easy. I get it. Peer-to-peer is easy, or on their end, no servers. And I'm like, it should be the backup. They should create a transition to when we want to sunset the servers, peer-to-peer secondary thing where you make friends in the automatic online hub and then exchange peer-to-peer connection widgets so that you're inside peer-to-peer framework. Somebody hire me at the industry, man, at the design conceptual level. I don't know how to code that, but I just told a coder something that they didn't think of themselves. Right? You know what I'm saying? You know how some games, Xbox, you can make friends at the dashboard. That's great. Useful to a certain degree, especially if you've got games friends that play multiple games that you also play. You kind of get an idea of what they play and when they're playing it, especially if they're active and online and visible and whatnot. But you go in a game and you can add friends, and it's not much good for much beyond seeing them at the top of the list when you can be like add people to team or whatever. I suppose. But what if, like, for example, this game, Dungeons and Dragons Dark Alliance, it's a solo player campaign that's got some kind of interesting mix and match co-op mode. I don't know if it's a separate thing, like a completely separate thing that only works in co-op mode, or if it's integrated into, like, by instancing the single player or what. But apparently, 2 months ago, I just missed it, they shut down the servers. The game is still supposedly playable in single player experience. I don't know what they did with co-op mode, if they just retconned it away or what. But imagine if they had the regular server thing that had to go away, but they also had peer-to-peer infrastructure built in, and a like way for the two to coexist and for them to make sense with each other, and for players to be able to play directly peer-to-peer connected in a peer-to-peer co-op mode. I don't know. Is it technically impossible because no one's ever thought of it before, and therefore the code does not exist? Is it something that's been tried and just it doesn't work? What? Tell me. Let's go. Anyways, clip that. I'm hoping it's at least playable. Just like I'm willing to pick up on steep discount Suicide Squad, Eliminate the Bat, or whatever it's called. But, because, negative hype is negative hype just as much as positive hype is hype. But there's also valid criticism is valid criticism, and it's all get jumbled together. I've heard a lot of negative hype mixed with some pretty valid criticisms, and a lot of trash talk, right? I don't know. Although I do hear it is a live, I would probably be savvy to like check the sunset schedule for that game before buying it. Okay, we'll see whether or not. Well, what's cool was, while this was co-opable and had the online component, as we saw in the trailer earlier before we left to go run the errand, no microtransactions. All the gear, all the armor, all the weapon sets in the game. So if it is true that it's still fully functional and playable in solo mode, then we're going to judge the game at that level as it is. Right. Okay. End of segment over. I am fighting the urge to cut things off. I have been rambling for an hour and 35 minutes. I really want to go get a coffee since I want to get this free abandoned house in Oblivion and then stop Oblivion. I want to log into Skyrim, do that analysis of whether or not I should just re-roll a character now or proceed with my wife hunt. That sounds really sexist. I swear I'm not. I grew up in a time when it was okay to make fun of sexist things by making jokes and light of it and satire, and that wasn't considered also being sexist. And now we've eclipsed that. Now just don't bring it up. And I'm failing sometimes a little bit because sometimes shit's still funny, just like farts. Call me childish, but a well-timed, like if it's fake, well engineered. If it's real, beautifully recorded. Fart sound effect can make or break an audience's laugh-gasm. Okay. I kind of also wanted to log into Elder Scrolls Online just to futz around with something. I had a thought while we were in there. And I was like, oh, we could do this. Because I'm like, this will be fun and easy. Right after I deleted something. And I also was curious, and I forgot to check the map to see what the F is going on with the central city. The city, but I think, if I'm not mistaken, the building that is central to Oblivion where the Imperial City is. That building, that Imperial City, is where we start the Elder Scrolls Online when you first roll a character, and that you like go and you talk to the guide lady who's kind of stranded there, and you pick a portal, a magic portal that you help her get them ready to work again or something, and then you like jump through it. That's the center pillar, tower, temple, whatever it is of the Imperial City, I think. And as things stand in Elder Scrolls Online, if I'm not mistaken, that's like inaccessible in the game. Like that, you can't. That's not a playable area, I don't think. So what's going on with that whole? Like, I kind of want to see if I can go to Elder Scrolls Online and visit the cities, because I know the Elder Scrolls Online map is bigger than the Oblivion map and the Skyrim map, because the Skyrim is set in just Skyrim, and Oblivion is set just in not the name of the state or the prefecture. Oblivion is because of the Oblivion gates to the other dimension. It is called Oblivion Dimension. Cyrodiil, which is the central. That's just like that is the central empire or the central county or kingdom or however they call them. And then I wanted to also try to do as short as possible, first impression look at Reckoning and Dark Alliance. And every fiber of my being is torn between run down to the coffee shop and get coffee, end this stream and label it a pregame chat lounge session. And the rest of me who's like going, no, don't. And then there's another part of me that's like, fuck the coffee, get some margaritas. And now that I've said that out loud, even though it is Wednesday, I am inclined to maybe go ahead and do that. Maybe. That might be really fun. That just tipped the scales. Because I had kind of forgotten about the margarita idea, and then it's like, ooh, once a month I get my little margarita night. Anymore, and it just starts to hurt too much. Like, grow up, kids. I have to think about. I mean, the coffee hurts. Period. So who am I kidding? The final thing, I think I already mentioned this, but to wrap things up, the reason I'm excited to launch Skyrim is because I moved it from the external drive where it was basically behaving as not a 360, as a Xbox One game. And now it's on the expansion card where it should launch as a Series X game. Even though it always had the Series X label, it apparently could launch from both. I wish all Series X games were backwards compatible that way, so I could rotate them off the center drive and still play them, even though it would take like a performance hit or a visual graphics hit, whatever. I don't know. I think I've just voted myself into going ahead and going out for not coffee. The other thing that's happening, I didn't do it for Lent, but I need to give up that coffee from the convenience store because the tariff prices are creeping in. The day shift doesn't charge me this new price, but the night shift is now charging me this way like upped price, more expensive price. And that some of them used to give me a super sweet discount for being a regular and being nice. And they used to have a membership club just for their beverages. They got rid of that. I'm so sad. Not their booze. Yeah. I think this Skyrim Oblivion. I'm sad someone already literally made Skyblivion because I thought, oh, now I can do Skyblivion episodes where I play a little Skyrim and I play a little Oblivion and I call it Skyblivion. I guess we could still do that. But I'd be stepping on the toes of the actual mod, which apparently is a creation I can install called Skyblivion, which is a mod created. Hiccups and burps. That's my body saying, I want margaritas. Unless they've got those dirty vodka martinis in a can. Because I'm willing to try that. If they do, I'll be stuck there for 20 minutes trying to decide. Here we go. Celebrating top of the month, turning of a page, And hopefully the act of finally honing in on that real, live, viral going fan base audience for the Zeppoverse craziness. And me bootstrapping myself into live streaming more consistently and with more organizational structure. That's what I need to do. I need to exercise the discipline of plotting out a plan and committing to it. I can either make it a sliding schedule where it's just relative to when I wake up, or I can make it a fixed schedule and make myself nail the times. All conventional wisdom indicates a fixed schedule would be better, but I've learned one lesson. If I've got no teammates and a manager, then I get lost in stuff and I blow right past timelines. I'll be in the middle of an Oblivion episode and I, expecting to transition to Tomb Raider at 2 p.m. and it'll be 8 p.m. and I'll be like, oh, I'm still playing Oblivion. Fuck. Okay. Anyway, so I'm gonna have to do it a relative sliding schedule. So stay tuned for that. More writing, more arts and crafts, and eventually more tarot. The act of pointing it out and teasing it more often is me working up the nerve to normalize it for myself. I don't give a fuck about anybody else's opinion. It's just me being weird and chicken shit in and of itself and just doing it. I don't know what I'm chicken shit of. I'm not scared of audience. I've performed in front of 2 people. I've performed in front of 2,000 people. I performed in front of more than 2,000 people. No, that's not true. Is that true? Either way, it's true in the Zeppoverse. I've performed in front of 22,000 people in the Zeppoverse as my fictional character. Well, friends, that having all been said, it's time to consult with DJ Zed, take a break, reset the stream, throw the variety wheel around a variety chaos. We're kind of set. All right, video game publishers, no more new video games for like 10 months. Don't give me nothing new till holidays. Or rather, I'm going to draw a line, no more new acquisitions, even if they are on sale, until the holidays. From here on out, I'm going to put that little bundle. I paid so awesome, great bundle group discount below original retail, but it still eats into its own, its own little budget, this podcast of video game live streaming. And it is literally about exorcising, at the risk of burning out, exorcising my FOMO and desire to make an archive of me playing all of these games at my own pace for the shits and giggles, for my own dissociation, public protest. I'm just engaging from reality because y'all mess it up. And I'm supposed to be able to commodify myself on these platforms, so I'm putting in the earnest hustle. Let's make it happen, yo. Otherwise, I'm gonna hit point of no return, absolute threshold of like fracas and like explode, and okay. Go do unmentionables on the streets for money. I'm kidding. World building for a book series. Half the shit that comes out of my mouth is world building for a book series. The other half is real. Now, I'll tell you what is real right now. The inspiration that suddenly went from the temptation to get coffee, which is still strong. Part of me is like, I'm going to argue with myself the entire walk down there. In part because this one is more expensive option than the other. And if I get the adult beverages, then I'm going to be inclined to get some kind of snack. So the whole date turns out, it's like taking myself out on a little date. Tune in after a brief break for a Zeppoverse chaos of variety. We have not abandoned Assassin's Creed. We've not abandoned Call of Duty. We've not abandoned War Robots. We're just on a different objective than most people. Most people zero in on a game, and if it's like a single player, they focus on that until they're done. I don't want to do that, because I worry I'll burn out on any of that individual game. I want to challenge myself to A, play through the franchises and titles, if they're singular, that I missed out, that I thought were awesome, that I would have could have played if I had more free time and more disposable income. and the ability to get myself a better machine to play them all on, like either an Xbox or a PC. Some of these are like, ooh, I'm so glad this is a crossover from PC, because otherwise I still wouldn't be able to play it. So, at any rate, I love me some PC crossover game. Bring us more PC games to the Xbox universe. I am going to go down to the coffee shop and get myself a margarita. And I'll be right back after that with margaritas and sabritones with Dijon for a little video game variety chaos date. There's no good way to do SKYRIM. That's nowhere near as good as Skyblivion. That's because you put Oblivion at the end of anything and it's awesome. Anything with a consonant, with a vowel. Tomb Raider Oblivion. The consonant gets in the way, but it works. Anyways, I'm out. Be good human beings. There is a tiny but not 0% chance that I'm going to come back from that and be like, F it, I'm done. I just want to watch a movie and drink. Unlikely though, because I really do want to go get this underwater house in Oblivion. I've got the tabs. Did I show you the tabs? Oh, I never showed you the tabs. Here, we'll tease this. These are the videos that we checked out. How to get married. This is one of the things I want to do in SKYRIM. I need to go to Riften, go to the Bee and Barb. I was literally right there. And I had no idea that I needed to go in there and talk to a priest of the god of marriage so that I might have already done this. There's a tiny percent chance that I've got this amulet, but I think it's a different amulet that we've got because I don't remember it saying anything about romancing the ladies. I also do not know if female gendered NPCs will let a female gendered player character romance them. Odds are you probably can, but that's what I'm going for. So the objective is to get at least that far along. I've also decided, not her, I don't want to play the music. There's a good... The next... This one. She's ranked number 2. Oh, this guy with his videos. VRez Games. Solid tips. He's got a range of different lengths. This one's only 2 minutes and 40 seconds. And this was a revelation. I could have probably gone another 80 hours in the game and not known that in order to unlock the correct dialogue tree with a potentially romantically interested NPC would-be future wife partner is to have this amulet that they give you. And I don't remember encountering them. I've got some sort of necklace that looks like the necklace that they show in the video, but I think that's because all of them do, or at least a whole class of them look the same with just different outlines and whatnot. So if we get that far, then I want to go and travel up to whatever the F town they mention. There's no text for the town, tragically. I think he does a map, but I pause it here. I forget her name, but she's out of the list of this. This is a different creator. This is Master Noleth, who's got his own, like, he's cosplaying as his character in the game in the videos, which is very cute. I kind of, like Red versus Blue in Halo. I want to do those with, although I realize now that most of my player characters are female, I should probably roll some male characters if I'm going to play Mr. Zeppo. Or I should find a female voice that doesn't trash my vocal cords for a Mrs. Zeppo character. Or go straight like Dr. Girlfriend with it. And if you get that reference, good on you. If you get that reference, aren't triggered, and love the source of that reference, we can be friends. Clip that, Eclipse. If you don't know who Dr. Girlfriend is, you are missing out. I'm glad the camera was on for that. That's why I came back here. All right, so this wife is a good wife for multiple reasons. This guy does this is a really charming, funny video. He breaks down, he's a little rude about calling some of the ladies unattractive, but whatever. It's his personal opinion. It is what it is. He's not rude, though. He's not misogynistic. And it's tongue-in-cheek, and he is talking about video game characters, for crying out loud. And it is Skyrim, where, like, there are mass serial murderers everywhere because they worship death cults. Okay? Video game. What sold me, there was another character that I was close to going, ooh, interesting. Because I didn't know this. I did not know this. A new thing I learned today, years old. In Skyrim, when you marry the NPC, they live at your house that you own. And I don't know if the little shack that I've got the key for right now counts, but I do have the key for it. We'll have to figure out earning enough money to buy the cheapest house that is for money. There is a free house at the university, which I might be able to go set her up at, but I don't know about that. And then we haven't done that yet, but so I don't know if I may not be able to marry her today, but I want to see if I can find the town she's in, find her family, and start talking to them with the amulet on, just to see what happens. I don't remember if this guy explains if he sends you on any quests. She might. Some of them do, some of them don't. It's really interestingly diverse range of options in terms of how complicated or not complicated marrying them seems to be. But he was also kind of unclear about some of the stuff. But fun video, totally recommend it. It's on a playlist. The reason they sold me, there's two reasons. One, they own a functioning mine. So for all your, and I love playing characters that are into the craft of mining, smelting, and armor smithing. I don't know why, I've always liked it. In Elder Scrolls Online, I made all my characters crafters. All of them. Which is redundant AF. Anyways, they own a mine, so it may take a while, but whenever we do get around to unlocking the marriage chat with her, who knows? Maybe it'll be nearly instant. Who knows? But I would love that. And also, I didn't realize, I don't think you can carry more than one companion around, but her mom, when she becomes your stepmom, also for whatever reason that no one explains why, is available to be your companion, and is apparently kind of badass. And that's just fun and funny. I will retcon it and pretend other things in my head that I'm not going to talk about out loud. Or say it's the same, that's my wife, but when we go hunting, we're both in disguise. And we'll just pretend that. I don't know. But the fact that it gives you a companion, not a marriage, not a secondary marriage partner. You can only marry. I asked, can you marry more than one person at a time? No. And there's no such thing as divorce, apparently. So you'd have to unalive them, which is brutal. I don't want to go around doing that a lot. So I watched this video at first reluctantly, but then once I realized, no, you cannot. You can only marry one person. Like, oh no, then I might as well just get this over with and decide. The number one person that they like a lot, I forget why I didn't like them. But the fact that they've got a fully functioning ore mine that you can go in there and, like, I presume spawns ore that you can mine, that sold me. Like, duh. They also, I didn't know that the wives, when you marry them, they live with you somewhere, but if they own a house, you can live with them at their house. Dope. She has a whole compound, including a mine, but presumably there's a house there, or an apartment or something. Maybe it's a cave dwelling. I don't care. There's enough other houses in the game. Eventually we can live separately, and we can. Apparently, I learned, I was today years old to learn that you can move from house to house officially with your wife. Something. Oh yeah, but the other kind, the companion that's like basically your party, and I had forgotten and rediscovered today vis-a-vis this instruction and some other video that they very much are designed to be pack mules for your stuff. Although they will also get encumbered. Their default starting carry weight is way higher than yours. So that's all the fun stuff that was going on today. I am deciding to... Did I already decide? I am 75-25 margaritas and chips. Maybe I'll fucking splurge and get an eggy sandwich because that sounds really good right now. But I told myself I'm not going to live out of the gas station. And then we run out of money faster when you live that way. But it's the top of the month and things are flush. And this is our day to celebrate. So gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. If you'd like to add to that, come on through to solo.to/Mr. Zeppo, because I assure you, some people have looked at me and assumed, some people out there at like in the world just take one look at me and assume that I'm independently wealthy because I carry myself well and I've got some well-preserved 30-year-old clothes that I chose carefully because I knew they would last and that I would be able to take care of them. And not 30-year-old, but not brand new clothes. And that they don't realize, like, I haven't bought new clothes in ages. Almost all my articles of clothing, if you ever see me with a new article of clothing, it's probably because someone in my close immediate family gifted it to me for my birthday or for Christmas. And I otherwise don't care about wardrobe. I've got a selection of things. I probably will need to start replacing a few things that I've gotten the oldest stuff has gotten a bit threadbare. But I digress. I live on a humble budget on purpose. Always tried to. Anyways, I don't need to explain myself to anybody. Here we go. I wanted to also feature these other videos. I'm looking forward to watching this. This brought up the concern about having messed up the first option. But apparently blades and graybeards juxtapose. I don't know if they all juxtapose, like preclude each other. This is VRes Games again. Oh, here we go. Storm Clouds and the Imperials. I don't remember what I chose. Imperials or Stormcloaks. I fancy the Stormcloak's literal cloak and emblem. But also. Then the Blades and the Greybeards. I don't know. I like to know about that at first. I know I've joined the Fighters Guild and the Mages Guild. Which you don't have to do both. You're able to do both. And whatever. And then there's the Thieves Guild, which I've been back and forth about, but I'm thinking about actually getting, because the trick to getting away with stealing stuff is A, making sure you are not going to get seen when you pick it up, and B, fencing it immediately. And the only way to do that is to Thieves Guild. The Companions, I think I accidentally stumbled into first. I don't know if because they don't have an ampersand partnering that they are independent and don't preclude you from other stuff, but that's why I need to watch this video. I have not watched it yet. It's on the list to prove to you. Guides for the Elder Scrolls Skyrim, guides for Oblivion Remastered. So come on through to my YouTube page if you want to check them out. It'll help this content provider, not me. So I need to watch that one. I wanted to show that to you. Boop. TikTok, Greg, Sabrina, Courtney, hey there, Kati, User, Amanda, Only Koi. Thank you guys for being here. I'm going to take a break. I'm going to run down to the shop, come on back with my potato chips and my beer, and we're going to dive into some Skyblivion. Not officially Skyblivion, but my version of Skyblivion. Oblivion Remastered for the Sunken Castle House, south of Lillowillow. And then Skyrim to initiate what is now going to be my prioritized top priority quest, getting that mine shaft owning. John Sebastian, we're signing off. Juan, thank you for dropping in. So we're going to try to get this lady wife rank number 2 on ranking every wife available in Skyrim. He ranked them all, and I think there's up more than 40. So it's a healthy video. I watched it all. It's all the way here because I backed it up. I've watched this, and it's one step too far, and I'm not into the things that he's into about that character as much as he is. Although I didn't see that cool map. I'm gonna have to go look at that cool map later. But this wife has everything I would love in an ideal Skyrim wife partner. She's going to run her own business. She's already got her own business, which will complement the shop she's going to open as the wife, because apparently I think it's separate from any previously owned business, unless it's not. Either way, whatevs. She's probably got a halfway decent little house that's functional. He didn't talk about her house much. At least I don't remember. And she grants me an in the family member sidekick. And I don't know if you can have multiple sidekicks. That's my other question that I forgot. I was going to ask the internet. Can you recruit You are generally limited. Okay, this is the AI overview. Let's see. Let's check this out. It's a complicated answer. It's not a straightforward answer. Oh, good. My camera's on. I'm going to hide it so that you guys can see and so I don't look dumb while I'm reading because I got to stare at the screen. Welcome, welcome, friends. We're about to sign off for a very relatively short break. I'm just going to run down, grab my impulse shopping needs, satisfy that, come on back. According to let me put my glasses on. According to the AI overview, in Skyrim Anniversary Edition, you are generally limited to having only one normal follower at a time. However, there are exceptions. During certain quests, like those in the Dawn Guard DLC, you may temporarily have an extra follower, like Serena. Additionally, so basically, if a quest gives you one, then you have more than one. Additionally, quest-related NPCs like Delphine and Esbern can accompany you even if you've already recruited a regular follower. Here's a more detailed breakdown. Vanilla limit. By default, you can only have one humanoid follower and one animal follower at the same time. Is that my horse? Or is there a different animal follower system? And is this a source link? Some quests provide temporary quest-related NPCs who will follow you, but they won't follow your orders like a regular follower. Dawn Guard DLC. During the Bloodline quest, Serena will become a second follower, allowing you to have a regular follower and Serena simultaneously. And I presume that means the inclusion of giving orders, which I don't remember how to do that. I need to figure that out. Main quest. In the main quest line, you'll have Delphine and Esbern as temporary companions. Mod. There are mods that can allow you to have multiple followers without relying on quests or exploits, according to Reddit thread. Any conclusion? Okay, so good to know. Funny question. Boom. When we come back from our break, friends, we're going to Riften. I do not know the names of any places yet at all. Someday, I will be as wizened as the veterans that taunt me in my nightmares right now. But for now, I have to look at stuff. So we're going to go to Riften. We're going to visit the Bee and Barb. I was literally in there earlier just now, and I'm sad I didn't find this guy. We're going to find the guy we're supposed to find to get the necklace to activate the sexy, sexy mojo. And we're going to go meet our wife. Before we do that, we're going to... Oh, do I have that other video up? No, I got rid of it. It's because I remember the directions pretty well. I'm going to save this for watch later. Get rid of this. How to play Asheron's Call 2. If it's not on Xbox, I don't care. It's probably... Thank you for dropping by. It's probably on mobile or something. There's a house south at the southernmost point of the map in Oblivion. So we're going to start with that. So gather around. Don't be gone. Go get some snacks. Take a dump. Drop off the kids at the pool. Tell your friends you're busy watching the crazy, the wild, the incorrigible Mr. Zeppo live on stream, TikTok or Twitch. He's about to do a weird combo platter, Oblivion, Skyrim, Elder Scrolls Online, maybe even... Oh, you know what? Because I under-delivered on this idea beforehand... Oops, wrong button. because I didn't do this before when I said I was gonna, I'm gonna make myself do it, even though it's gonna take that much more time. It's gonna be a Skyrim. It's an Elder Scrolls party when we come back. Even though we've got Dungeons and Dragons and BioShock and Kingdoms of Amalur's Reckoning, we might bump those over, man, because this other thing's gonna take forever. I realize now it's gonna take way longer than I expected to. When we come back, we're gonna log into The Elder Scrolls 3 to at least get on that flea bus and fly on over to wherever we're supposed to go to, because that's where we left off. And then maybe we'll explore and we'll push a little further. We've got to find a town with a hotel that'll let us sleep for the night, right? Bare minimum. Park it. Bounce out. Oblivion, because we're going to go in numerical order, to run down to Leolwyn, pick up this other house. We've already got the free castle that you can get. I'm going for the free sunken mansion temple thing. And then we'll poke around, maybe clean up a few loose threads on quests that we're almost done with, or whatever. La la la. And then Skyrim, wedding necklace, potential wife. If we can maybe pull it off, marry her right then and there. Because then and before that, character assessment. Decide if we're gonna re-roll. Also, I gotta figure out if I can load my different characters from before, because I've rolled other characters before and I don't remember if I deleted them or not. I may have deleted them, and that's fine, because I got nowhere near as far, and I was actually each time that I've tried to play a Skyrim character, I've fallen for the seductive level up pitfall as someone else. I'm today years old. I'm learning about that. If you've never heard of this, listen to me now and go watch one of the videos about it on the playlist I made for Skyrim guides on my YouTube video, and then check out some of my videos while you're at it. But in Skyrim, as opposed to other games, if you level up, it's usually default good. Here, if you level up, it also levels up your encounters automatically. Generally speaking, not a horrible thing. But if you level up non-combat skills, it brings up your whole character level up, like especially in the early stages of the game, in a way that can be detrimental and make the characters harder because your combat skill was not exercised and didn't level up with it. It levels, like, for example, if you get to the first town and just do alchemy and smithing, you're going to get to level 5, but you're fighting whatever it is, whatever weapon you're using. If you just did that hardcore for a hot minute, your fighting will be level beginner 0. You're going to go off to fight level 5 characters, and I think I may have done that to myself just enough that it's a pain in the butt. And it's early enough that I think I could probably salvage this character, probably. And also, if there is a character save file organization system that makes it easy to load the game by picking a character, which is the thing I think they don't do in this game. They didn't do until online. Then maybe we'll go ahead and re-roll anyways as part of the party after we exploratory find that character, because then we'll know where it is. I'm the one thing that makes me sad is if I do re-roll, I wouldn't know what to pick, and then I'll feel like I'll just be bogged down by the FOMO if I didn't do the research. I feel like I made my best educated guess, and it's early enough that I can probably fix any errant choices without it costing me any reset costs. But we can have a whole discussion about that when I get back. I'm off. A little break to grab some adult refreshments, and then we will have an Oblivion collection. We're going to celebrate our first ever The Elder Scrolls Variety Chaos Roulette party, because we're going to do really short objectives and then move on to the next game. If that goes by relatively fast, and we still got Steam, then we're going to queue up Reckoning and Dark Alliance for the completely fresh, completely new to me first impression playtest of the opening bit, of the onboarding. All right, join me for all that in just a bit. Be back. Be good human beings. And don't judge me, because this is all within the bounds of my usual budgeted routine. The other thing I need to cut out is the it's just one thing too many. The Magic Movie Loop Maker is super useful in pro mode, but one thing too many for the show, and it just breaks that whole little budget and ruins things. So everything else is fine. Well, relatively speaking. I'm going to stop rambling about that. Don't judge me. Everyone's in their own place. Support me. Go to my link collection library for all the ways you can show your support, up to and including support by donating as little as $1 on a secure, safe, and some other word that is reassuring platform called Ko-Fi. This may or may not spiral right out of control, because I am sort of not fully recovered from insomnia, and it's gonna be fun though. The Elder Scrolls Party, Variety Chaos Roulette Wheel Style, when we come back. Ciao for now. This will be a relatively short break. I do not intend to take too long.